What's Mission Prep? Tell me what that's all about.
Dumb lost it. Thank you for joining us. It's over.
Edit this out.
We're done.
I'd heard your name throughout the years by following along with Black Rifle and those guys. And I didn't quite really know who you were, though. I've heard them talk about you. I've heard you on their podcast before. But until we got in contact, I didn't really know who you were. So I, of course, had to do a quick little Google search. And you've done a lot of damn things.
I have. I like to. Are we recording?
Yeah, we're on, man. We're rolling.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I kind of have this thing like I'd rather create the news than be the news. And that's kind of my mindset. And, like I could be in I could be in plenty of Black Rifle content if I wanted to be, but that's not what I'm here for. There's tons of people that would tell you or do anything just to get on camera with those guys. But like, I don't give a shit about that. That's not my thing. Like, we've got on-air talent. There's plenty of it. And if they ask me to be in a video or something like that, or a skit, I'll do it. But like, I've never asked to be in anything, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, and then, I have done a ton of stuff. So so let's see. I graduated college in 2000, spent half a year down in Key West dicking around. And then I came back to Savannah, where my hometown is, Savannah, born and raised. I went to the University of Georgia for school, and came back from Key West, got into real estate, did really, really well, like absolutely killed it. And then 2008 came and the real estate market crashed and the banking sector went to shit and the economy crashed. And I lost everything I had. Millions of dollars. Like, when I say I mean millions, I'm not joking, millions. And I felt sorry for myself for about 48 hours and decided that was a waste of time. And I moved to New York City and started going to grad school at NYU. And while in graduate school, we started this little CrossFit apparel company. I mean, literally, I moved to New York in the summer of 2009 or 2010. And within 6 months, 4.5 months, started another company that ended up a little CrossFit apparel company called Tupood. I think we started that. We tell people we started it with 17,000, but it was actually substantially less than that. And ended up selling that 2 years ago, for a nice little chunk of change. Nothing crazy, but hard work pays off. Yeah. And so that we started Tupood in December of 2010, and then Killcliff, we started that in the winter of 2011.
Okay.
And then I did that for many, many years, 7 years total, I think. And I was like the last person standing, like, of the original team, original crew at Killcliff. It took on venture capital, VC money, took on the wrong VC money. I am still a consultant for Killcliff, and I still have equity in the company. And I will say this, and I don't care who hears it, but John Giannuzzi and Sherbrooke they fucked it up. Excuse my French, but they literally, there's no other way to put it. They completely fucked up everything. They're morons, idiots, thought they were smarter than everyone in the room. So you had Todd, who's a former SEAL, GW, who's a multi-time world champ from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Michael Howe played minor league baseball. Jamie Shara, and myself, and we're the people that basically started Killcliff. And we had these venture capital guys came in that thought they were smarter than everyone, and they knew how to do this and knew how to do that, and they literally drove the company into the ground. Everyone left, except me. I stayed there actually 2 years too long. And Killcliff's fine now. They've got new VC, new ownership group, which are doing a great job for them. But we had the wrong guys come in, total dipshits. I mean, I hope they're listening, and I hope they get mad.
Yeah.
I want to do something about it. But no, just, like we've all been around people that just dipshits. Anyway, so, but the thing with Kill Cliff, which was interesting, was I had, I was a really good high school football player, and I played in college. I was not a good college football player. Like, it was a totally different world for me, but I was good in high school. And I remember every Saturday morning, I would get up and go down to the end of our driveway and get the newspaper to see if my picture was my picture on the cover of the front page of the newspaper. If it wasn't there, then I'd go immediately to the sports section. It was on the front cover of the sports section of the newspaper. And then I would look for the game write-up. Was my picture there? Was my name in the article? Did I intercept a pass? Did I score a touchdown? Did I run a punt back for a touchdown? Did I, catch a, receiving touchdown? And I remember like seeing your picture was the best thing in the world. It's like, holy shit, like I'm the man. And I just remember like that was the goal in the early days of Kill Cliff, was replicating that feeling for people on social media. And Coach Carter used to always say, name in the paper,
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I did with Kill Cliff was, so on social media, like we would engage with all of our customers, we would engage with all of our followers, we would, just make people feel like they were a part of something. And then, and then people started reaching out, like, how'd you do what you did? How did you do what you did at Kill Cliff? Can you help us? And at that point, I was like kind of ride or die with Kill Cliff. I was like, no, I'm just, I'm 100% invested in Kill Cliff. Like, that's what I'm doing. That's the future, yada, yada, yada. And then as the love affair with Kill Cliff started to wane, my curiosity in working with other companies and other brands started to increase. And I remember my first client, like I had decided, we had the VC firm brought in a CEO. I can't remember his name. Absolute beta of a human being, like man, like in like gender and like, you could tell he was a male, but like just a complete bitch. Excuse my French.
Very good.
Just a weak man. It's like it's hard to work for people that you don't respect. And like in that situation, I learned how strong and important leadership was. So I was like, I've had enough of this guy. Like he's a weak man. And so I decided to leave January of 2016, or maybe January 1st, 2017. No, January 1st, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was my last day at Kill Cliff. And Kimber Firearms was my first full-time client. And it's just been off to the races since then, with all the brands I work with and stuff. And started working with Black Rifle Coffee as well, doing some consulting for them. And going from and the guy that's the CEO of Kill Cliff now is a former SEAL. His name is John Timar. He's a good friend of mine. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Great dude. I'm not shitting on the company. I'm shitting on the previous group that was in charge of Kill Cliff. Like those guys can go to hell. But like the new ownership group and the new executive team they have in place is absolutely awesome. Those are great dudes. But going from that situation to heavily involved with Black Rifle, you saw how important leadership was. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can tell them what I'm doing.
You guys there?
Yeah. Just checking something popped up. It's. I know someone who used to work there, and he said it was a very toxic environment when he was there. Like you'd have SEALs coming in and screaming at people, telling them they're going to kill them and shit.
At Kill Cliff?
Yeah.
No, that
he's
never
like,
happened.
Really?
Never. No, not ever once. No, not even. No, hell no, God no, not at all.
He said he was terrified to come into work at lots of times. He's like, because he said someone specifically, but he was terrified to go into work.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's bizarre. But what's interesting is, going from a company with lack of leadership to heavily involved with Black Rifle, where Evan Hafer's, the epitome of leadership, so it's easy to work for people that you respect and work with people that you respect versus just punching a clock. Anytime all you're doing is punching a clock, that's not any good. But that was, one of the cool things about Black Rifle is working with people. And I've always said, like, if I'm the best thing we've got, we're fucked. Like, I truly mean that. Like, I'm really good at a few things. Like, I'm really good at a couple things. And then there's just a lot of things that I'm really bad at because I just don't give a shit about them. So, like, if I was in charge of like accounting and ops and operations, like, we would be bankrupt in 4 days. Like, just because I don't want to do that, But Black Rifle allows me to focus and do the things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
And you give people 10 acres and a mule and let them kind of develop and cultivate their own universe and their own world. And that's one of the things that I think Black Rifle's really good at. But
that's something actually when we talked with John Moss last week, he was talking about is if you're not good at something, find people that are and surround yourself with those people. And that's a good way to succeed. You know?
No one's good at everything.
No, and anybody that says they are is completely full of shit.
Yeah.
But I guess I can introduce you. You guys haven't met. This is Kevin, by the way. I'm sure you've seen him or heard him, but this is Kevin since you've only been talking with me.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Yeah.
Moss is a good example of so I have clients that I work with that, and I don't do big formal presentations. I don't at our beach house. There's a saying, and I remember it from my childhood. There's a sign that says, "If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit." So I own a company called Digital Mongoose, and it's a marketing consulting firm, and we run social media and digital marketing for a bunch of companies. And there's a lot of agencies that do what I do, and they have these huge exotic presentations, and they just kind of hypnotize and mesmerize their clients just by just dazzling them with bullshit, baffling them. And I think we don't do that. I don't do that. Like, I don't create big. If you want a proposal from me, it's a simple bullet point email. These are the things that we do, and this is how we do it, and this is what we're going to do. And the way I view it is like, you're hiring me to do something. Let me do what I do. Because if you knew how to do what I did, we wouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
Everything has to be the right fit. Like, it's got to be the right client. It's got to be the right customer. They have to have a need that I can fill, because if it's a need that I can't fill, I don't really want to work with them. Then I feel bad about taking people's money. I like to be kind of cut loose, and I'll find where you have underperforming assets and things that aren't working, and then I'll figure out how to get them fired up and working properly.
Well, like, another thing with you, I mean,
Moss is a good example of a client of mine that.
Yeah, and he's an awesome guy. He's been great to deal with. He's good. He's a real good dude. I guess we'll give the listeners a little backstory on you, because we had Evan Hafer on the podcast, and then you reached out to me through social media, and the whole time, like, you right away said, "Hey, I have some guests for you if you want them."
Yeah. And
my first thought is, why the fuck is this guy helping us? Like, we don't know him. He doesn't owe us a damn thing.
Yeah.
And when I texted you that, I said, I don't know why you're doing this, but thank you. And you said, rising tide raises all ships, is what you said back. And every single person that's involved with Black Rifle that I've talked to has been so pleasant to talk to. Everybody is like it seems like accepting of people, and none of you guys owe us shit. We're just a couple of dudes trying to do a podcast, and you've been fucking amazing. I mean, you've hooked us up with a lot of good people to get on this podcast.
Yeah, Black Rifle has a zero douchebag policy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it works over there. Everyone's replaceable in the moment that you think you're not replaceable. You probably have already been replaced. But yeah, no, like, there's a bunch of podcasts that I do that for. It's and I have people that I will put on their podcast, and then I will follow up with that person and say, usually it's Jamie. And I say, "Hey man, what do you think of those guys?" He'll be like, "Yeah, they're good dudes. I like talking to them." I was like, "Do they have their shit together?" "Yes." "All right, cool." And then I'll but I mean, because it's a two-way street. Like everything, everyone has to walk away feeling happy and satisfied. It's like when you do like a deal or something, like you can't. Everyone at the table has to feel like they're walking away in a better situation. And so, for example, like you guys had John Moss on from Mountain Primal. You gave him a platform. You shared your platform for him to tell his story and put out his message. And then in return, Mountain Primal will promote the episode on their social media, which now they're using their platform to basically echo your voice. And then I look like a good guy because I helped out two guys with an up-and-coming podcast.
Yeah.
Helped out one of my clients. Everybody wins in that situation. Like literally, all parties walk away from the table feeling like they're in a better place than they were when they sat down.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get that shit, man. Like there's a lot of people like, yeah, man, what's your angle, man? What are you working? It's like, I'm not working anything.
Yeah.
Like, well, what are you trying to do, man? You're trying to fuck, people like I'm a very honest person. And I think people that are quick to like, think someone's up to no good normally are the crooked people, like
Exactly.
shady dudes always think everybody else is shady.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like, I don't want anything, like I don't know, like you have a podcast, this guy's good. I think it'll be a good fit. Like, you're trying to work something here. It's like, I can do the opposite. I can.
Right. And I don't want to surround myself with disingenuous people or the type of people that are always in your DMs trying to sell their shit.
Yeah.
In the comment section, like, get the fuck out of here. You're not a real person to me,
So I run I think 27 different Twitter accounts for, companies and individuals and stuff like that. And like, it's insane. And I used to be a big fan of LinkedIn, to your point, like DMs and messages and shit and like just slinging shit. Like I used to be a fan of LinkedIn where I thought LinkedIn was like this up and coming platform for professionals and higher level customers. Like, and then all of a sudden LinkedIn, I've now pivoted and I think LinkedIn is the single largest generator of spam in all
I'm finding that as well. I'd never used LinkedIn before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
And I started a page for the podcast. I tried to get on every social media app out there with our podcast, just trying to get it out there. And I'm on LinkedIn and every day I'm getting these invitations from, I can promote your podcast. It's like, fuck, man, I don't even look at it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, just how about go away?
Yeah. For sure.
Or like, and then like I get times where I want to respond and just be like, hey man, like, has this email ever worked for you? Tell me, like, has anyone ever been like, absolutely, I would love to have a meeting with you, you random ass stranger.
Yeah.
No, all the social platforms are changing. Like everyone thinks that Instagram is like the gold standard. Instagram is not the gold standard. Instagram is for idiots. Like literally, dude, this is my phone. All I need is one opposable thumb to operate Instagram. That's it.
Yeah.
One thumb. And it's like you can't have conversations there. It's good for growing a brand and like people like a visual association of your brand. But like Facebook is where conversations take place. And that's like I tell people all the time, like it's like you can make hundreds of dollars on Instagram. You can make tens of millions on Facebook. And you can make zero on Twitter. But there's a lot of, people interact and there's a lot of conversations that take place on Twitter. But like Instagram is not the gold standard. Anyone that says that Instagram is the gold standard is a millennial, or easily, hypnotized by shiny objects and shit.
Right. Like what happens like that? Like what happens when we post some
lights? What's that?
We're just putting on a light show for you out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like what happens when we put on a post like, wait, a Black Rifle on a podcast and you put a picture of, one of the bags with the suppressed, pistol on it, and it gets removed because the police are out there on Instagram.
No, yeah. So Lone Star Outdoor Show, who's a buddy of mine, he's got a really awesome podcast, and he tried to do a giveaway, and it was involving Mossberg and several other brands, and it got pulled because it said he was, selling contraband. It's like I'm not selling anything. Like I'm giving away a gun and a backpack and some Mountain Primal and some other products.
Mhm.
And he doesn't need, like, the gun is at Mossberg's factory. And once a winner is chosen, we'll vet them and then notify them. Then they have to send us a local gun shop. The gun goes directly from Mossberg to the FFL. And then there's a FBI background check run. And then if they pass that, they get the gun. But like it doesn't, like, here's my take on social media, man. We've been living rent free on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the past decade, over a decade. Like literally, we don't have to pay for it. And what we've seen recently in 2021, and listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't buy into that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've seen is how quickly they can take it away, and whether you are a pro-Trump, anti-Trump, Republican, or Democrat, or you voted for Biden, it should worry you that there are organizations out there that have wield as much power and control as the big tech does. Like, they can manipulate and affect the outcomes of elections. They can censor whomever they want, whenever they want. And that's pretty scary to me. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty scary. So the best way, and that's why I preach like direct marketing to consumers. So building of email databases. So if you are a business and you are trying to grow your business, don't worry about how big your social following is. Like, oh man, we got to get our Instagram followers up. No, you don't. Shut the fuck up. What you need to do is figure out a way to market directly to your consumer. And the best way to do that is through emails. So focus on email capture campaigns and how to grow your email database. And now once you've grown your email database and you start putting out newsletters, make sure they are good quality newsletters, because like we just talked about a few minutes ago, no one wants to see shitty emails. No one wants to receive an email. So the way that you get people to open your email is through creating a very quality product or having real fucking cool emails. So I have 3 email accounts. I get lit up constantly every day with all kinds of spam. And I was thinking about this the other day. So I bought a couple pairs of shorts from a company called Vuori, Vuori, which is kind of like Lulu for dudes or whatever. I don't know. But the shorts are great. And I like them because they make me look taller. I'm 5'10", and anytime I can get away with a 6-foot look, I'm all about that shit.
Same.
So no, but I was thinking, it's like I open up all their emails now, and it's not because they send good emails. It's because I like their product.
Yeah.
Black Rifle is a company, a great example of a company that sends phenomenal emails out. Like Black Rifle, dude, we send great emails. Like tons and tons of work and energy and focus goes into those things. Like, and we don't pitch the bitch. We don't pitch wood. We don't send shitty emails. That's hugely important, in my opinion. I had another follow-up that I forgot what I was about to say. Whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, no, that's true. I like their emails, their content, just the layout, the page layout, the color tones. I mean, everything's kind of attention to detail in that.
Yeah.
It's not just a white blanket statement with a paragraph like fire bullshit, or extend your car's warranty,
No, I remember what I was going to say. So Robinhood is a company that has like an online mobile app for trading stocks and some cryptocurrencies. I don't know if people listening, when GameStop or AMC, when those stocks were, Wall Street Bets was putting all that info, and those stocks were just rocketing to the moon. Robinhood caught a lot of slack because they suspended their trading on some stuff. But Robinhood every Monday puts out an email called Robinhood Snacks, which is just basically like a summation of what happened in the market last week. And they break it down into really short, easily digestible little pieces of content. And they use, it's written at like an 8th grade reading level. Anyone can understand it. And I think that's a really good email too. So yeah, those are 3 emails that I'm a big fan of. But most emails are just trash. It's like if you can make somebody laugh, if you can make them smile and you can teach them something, doing business with them after that is actually quite easy. Yeah. There has to be a value proposition for the customer. Like, all right, I'm going to give you something. and you're going to give me something in return. But I'm going to give you three. It's a give, ask is the cadence. 3 gives, 1 ask. That's the cadence and how we do a lot of stuff at Black Rifle. But it's super important that way. Instead of just lighting people up asking for shit or
Yeah. Well,
my
that's
favorite is when people like try to like rope us into bullshit like conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? It's like, no, we don't give a fuck either. Like,
Yeah.
I get all these DMs and stuff on Twitter and about people, attaching us to, not attaching us, but like they'll send a message to like 9 people, like trying to just, I call it the outrage Olympics, where they're trying to get other people worked up. And it's like, no, I don't give a shit about this. Like,
They need to stay in their fucking lane, and what they're looking for is that confirmation bias. Hey, let's rope them into this because they have a substantial following, or they have credibility. Like, don't fucking rope people's credibility into your bullshit,
Or they're like assuming our position on things. Or and there's 500 people that work at Black Rifle. There's a lot of people at that company. I remember one. I don't remember which company it was, but it was like this person sent a DM to like 50 people in companies and organizations, like famous people on the internet and all this shit, companies. And it's like, my nephew was denied the ability to purchase. It was the night before the Dove opener in like some southern state. My nephew was denied the right to purchase 12 gauge ammunition for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And it was just like, what do you want us to do about it? Like, what do you want me to do about this? I don't. And I think like I was actually kind of intrigued by it. And I think what happened was like he wasn't old enough at the end of the day or something like that, like, or didn't have his driver's license or something. It's like, oh, so they actually followed their policy. Like, if you don't want to shop at Walmart because you don't like their ammo policy, vote with your wallet. Just don't go there. But I don't give a damn that your nephew can't buy ammo at Walmart. I don't care. Like, like, what do you want us to do? Like, gaslight people? Oh, sons of bitches.
Yeah.
What are the facts? I don't. What else? Who all knows what the hell's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is out of all the companies and people you work with, is Black Rifle like your biggest company you work for, your primary, or is it kind of spread out evenly through the companies?
On sales?
Well, just like in general, like the work you do. Do you do
No.
like more Black Rifle versus others?
Black Rifle is my. It's kind of a tricky question. So like, I would say Mossberg is my biggest client. Black Rifle is my biggest client. Like, those are my friends. Like, those are the people that I recreate with. Those are the people that I hang out with. What I do for Black Rifle, what I would charge another company for that. Oh, good God. Like,
Gotcha.
It's weird. Like, I'm not motivated by money. A lot of people say that, but like, I am truly motivated by good decision-making. That's what really gets me fired up. Like, hey, Trevor Thompson, talk to Jake, this podcast, or talk to Jeremy at this podcast, or talk to Cable at this podcast. And I make introductions and my friends get on podcasts and it's good for everyone. That makes me happy. I'm not going to charge you. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that would try to charge you to book guests. I don't. It's like, hey, I'm going to send these guys a text suggesting this person go on. And if they like it, if they're down with it, then are they easy to work with? But if you were like kind of a pain in the ass, I would never recommend anybody for your podcast. They'd be like, whatever, move on to the next one. But like with Black Rifle, like it's success is awesome. Like, people find that are attracted to success, and people are attracted to winners, and winning feels good. And it is honestly some of my greatest, joy in the world is seeing what Black Rifle has become. I'm not saying I was there in the very beginning, but I was at Black Rifle. How do you turn the fucking messages off? I was there in the early days, like the early days, before it was in Salt Lake City, like early days. And just seeing where they are now and what we've all done, and knowing that I've helped play a role in some of the success, like there's, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've helped, I'm probably responsible for we did 163 million last year in sales. And I think this year we should do, 220 or something like that, something crazy. I'm might be responsible for 250,000, maybe. I don't know I don't know what am I responsible for, but there are verticals in the company where I have played a much bigger role, like the hunting and the outdoor space. Yes, I have. That has been a goal of mine to get that company involved in that space, and I have done everything in my power to make the right introductions and help kind of push it. I mean, ultimately, Evan is the one that the ultimate decider on everything, but like I've planted a few seeds that are sprouting for sure. Like, absolutely 100%. And like but yeah, so my Black Rifle and Mossberg are my biggest clients for sure.
Yeah. Cause I mean, it seems like just the little bit I've dealt with you know a lot of damn people, and you're in with a lot of different people from different companies. Yeah. So I was kind of wondering, like, cause I noticed in our world, Black Rifle's like one of the most popular ones, I mean, everybody knows fucking Black Rifle coffee.
No, listen, Black Rifle, give it 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just wait. We're the fastest growing RTD coffee space. There's only 2 companies that are ahead of us in the convenience store world. Mm-hmm. We outperform a bunch of brands that, if you heard the names, like we outperform Dunkin' Donuts. Mm-hmm. in the gas station world. A ton of them. Just, it's amazing. But yeah, like I work with a bunch of brands, and I don't have a website. I don't solicit business. I don't normally work with new clients just because, I've got all I can handle. And I've got, 3.5 employees now, 4 employees. 5 employees. 5 employees. My company has 5 employees. But yeah, I hand pick who I work with, and so what I like to focus on is, like, I work with companies that are all on the same row of the same aisle of the grocery store. So you go down this aisle, and all those brands that I work with are kind of playing the same space. So like, if I'm like in the spice, if all my clients are in the spice section, it doesn't make sense for me to go work with a company down in the yogurt section, because the yogurt section can't help the spice section. You know what I mean? Yeah. So everything, if you focus on stuff that's like kind of in the same realm, like I believe in going a mile deep and an inch wide. I cannot tell you how many times I get hit up a week with companies that want to work with me or work with my company that I just don't know anything about the space. And I just tell them, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't, there's no way I could do for you what I do for these other companies. It's just not possible. Yeah. It won't work, just because I don't have, like, I need, 1 creates the business of 1 and 2 creates the business of 4. So I don't want to just be with 1 company on another aisle of the grocery store when I've got 24 companies on this aisle of the grocery store.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's when we first started talking, I was telling Kevin about you, because Kevin's from the CrossFit space, and so I told him, about Tube Food and stuff. Oh yeah, fuck, I know who that is. I know that company, and so that's how he related to knowing who you were. But yeah, it was going back to what I said. You've been extremely helpful for us, man. I mean, the people you've connected me with to be able to talk to, those are people I would have never known how to reach out to those people.
I don't believe in doors, man. Like, I believe in curtains. Like, and when someone's like, "Man, I can't get the guy on the phone," it's like, what does that mean? What do you mean you can't get him? Like, what do you mean you can't get him? Like,
yeah,
what is it? I've been on calls with groups of people, and we were trying to get in touch with a winner of a giveaway. God damn it! We were trying to get in touch with a winner of a giveaway. And like, we couldn't. They're like, "Yeah, we can't find him." I was like, "What is his phone number? What is his name?" And I think I had him on the phone while on this conference call within like 2 minutes. They're like, "How did you do that?" I was like, "I sent him a fucking text." Yeah. And then I sent him a message on his Instagram. Yeah. And then I called him. And imagine that. Like, you created a fire around someone. That'll get your attention. So which CrossFit gym did you go to?
Well, when I got out of the Army, I opened up a CrossFit Rally Point. I was a owner of that, and then did that for a few years. and then we did really well. And then I left because I wanted to pursue college. So I'm finishing up college now. But yeah, I went to CrossFit gym in Boise.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough space, man. Like it's an interesting space. And like I was in the CrossFit space for a decade. I mean, I started doing CrossFit in 2009. And it sucks to see where it is now compared to where it was like 2013, 2014, 15.
That's the time I started doing it.
It was awesome. Like the games, like I've been to the CrossFit games from between 2010 and every year to 2017. 1 year we were a sponsor. Two Poot had a booth, and every year had a booth there for 7 years. We were an official sponsor. I don't remember what year it was, but like, yeah. And my girlfriend at the time competed in the CrossFit Games for CrossFit Marysville 4 years in a row. Finished third.
That's a cool gym.
Yeah, finished third 1 year. Went into the final workout first. But yeah, it was awesome. And then they just went to shit. And owning a CrossFit gym, like we have a gym here in Ormond Beach. Melissa started in 2010, CrossFit East Ormond Beach. Phenomenal community, but like that's a great example. I was talking about leadership earlier, okay? And there were times when Greg Glassman was a phenomenal leader. When he started CrossFit, he led from the front, and he was always putting out stuff. And then for whatever reason, he went off on his own and started like fighting Big Sugar. That's not leadership.
Right.
That's a personal crusade.
Yep.
I'll not to get political. I'll tell you another example of absence of leadership. When the COVID stuff happened, and I personally think Donald Trump is a narcissist. I think all politicians are. I think you have to be. I think you have to be a narcissist to run for political office.
Agreed.
Or like a fucking serial killer that just hadn't killed anybody.
Yeah.
And like anyone listening, like I'm literally talking about all politicians. There are no good politicians, not the right, not the left. I'm talking about all of them. And it's weird because I think the narcissists lack leadership because they're so obsessed with themselves, they can't care for others. Yet these are the people that we elect to be our leaders. It's like who's on first, man? Like what's going on? But I think during the pandemic thing, I think that is when Trump's, and I personally thought he had some really good policy stuff. I think he should have had his Twitter taken away from him for at least half the day.
For sure.
And the media didn't help him, but he also kind of played right into their trap. But I think that was one of his downfalls was lack of leadership. Like I remember the day that the unemployment numbers came out at like 14.4 million. And I remember seeing a tweet from him talking about his approval rating in the GOP party.
Yeah.
And it was like, excuse me? Nobody gives a fuck about that, Donald.
Self-serving.
And listen, I'm a Trump guy. Like I'm a Trump fan. That's where my vote went, was to Trump, like, both times. So I don't want anybody to think that like I'm trying to hide my political beliefs or shit talk or whatever. But yeah, I think, leadership is at times the most important thing that a person can have. And I think Evan Hafer is about as good a leader as anyone I've ever worked with. He's available. He's present. You know what he's doing. He does not belittle his employees. Like he fucks with those that are like in the inner circle, Evan cares about his employees. He wants everyone to be happy, and he leads from the front. Evan works. I mean, this is the God's honest truth. I don't think Evan really took a day off for like the first 5 years of Black Rifle, and to the point, to a fault, because that's another thing. Like, if you don't take time off and take a step back, you'll burn out. That's I don't give a fuck how hard you are. I don't care who you are. Burnout is a real thing at all levels. And I think, that's another interesting thing about those guys. Like none of them had like a rich uncle or inherited money. Like they started that company with like $1,800, and it's literally hard work. They haven't fucked anybody over. They didn't screw anybody. Like they just literally just grind their asses off, and that's how Black Rifle has accomplished everything that it has. It's just hard, and it's been inspiring to watch, and it's really cool to be a part of. Like it truly is. Like it really is. You meet a bunch of cool people, and I'll tell you this one thing that I was thinking about it. I'm actually quite proud of this. Like, I think when we started, I said that I wanted to help create the news. I never wanted to be the news. I've never taken a single photo with any person that I've ever met through that company.
I was surprised on the free range YouTube channel. Jared's doing that When I Grow Up series thing, and I saw you pop up on the one where you guys were at the bow shoot, and I was like, whoa, I haven't seen him. You don't see you on anything. So I was surprised to see you pop up.
Yeah, I went to the University of Georgia. I'm a huge Georgia football fan. Like, I don't care about the NFL. I am a diehard Georgia Bulldog, and Bill Goldberg was there.
I saw a picture of that,
and I was just like, "Holy shit, that's Goldberg!"
Yeah.
And then I'm a big BJJ UFC fan, and Hoyt Gracie was there.
Yeah.
And I knew he was coming. I knew for weeks in advance that he was coming. I mean, and I've texted with him and talked to him on the phone and stuff. And I was like, damn, dude, like I remember being a freshman in college playing football and watching the first UFC on VHS tape. Like I can literally draw you the original logo. I UFC 1, like there's a guy in the, the perfect man's in the middle of the ring, and it's yellow, and it's I can see it now, and it's just like, holy shit, it's crazy.
It's kind of cool. You're doing what you've done. You're able to meet, I guess, your heroes. Some of them, you know what I mean?
Well, that's another thing you learn. Like, some of the people that I have met doing the Launch Code podcast with Evan Hafer are some of the finest, most badass soldiers this country's ever produced. And that's those are the people that really get my attention. Like, those are the people that I think are super badass and super cool. Not, Hoyt Gracie, no one can take away what he's done. Bill Goldberg played at Georgia, played in the NFL, then was a wrestling suit. I don't give a shit about his time as a professional wrestler, but guys that really, like, what are the consequences to, that's kind of how I look at people. It's like, okay, what did you do? What did you accomplish? And what are the consequences if you failed? And I remember when Black Rifle, we posted the meme, like Starbucks was like, we're going to hire 10,000 refugees, and we'll hire 10,000 vets. And that blew up. And apparently we were getting some information like coming in from back channels about some people, up in the corporate upper echelons of, big companies were not happy about that. And it's just like, hey man, like the CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz was his name, I think. It's like, hey man, you're a fucking retailer. You sell coffee. Have you ever been in a position to where life and death was the result of split-second decision-making? So until you've played in that realm, you're a retailer, dude. Like, you sell coffee for a living. Like,
you're fuck
out of here. Get out of here. Like, and I remember, I don't remember. It was a major news. I think maybe MSNBC or ABC or CBS or something. It's typical Evan Hafer. He was. It was Evan and Matt. They were in Salt Lake City. They were getting interviewed, and she said, "So who's your competition?" And Evan goes, "We don't have any competition." She goes, "Surely you have competition." And Evan says, "You show me a CEO that's carried a saw through the streets of Baghdad at 3 a.m. and I'll show you our competition." And like, he didn't smile when he said it. He was dead serious. But if you know Evan, you know that was planned in his head, and he just went deadpan. Just sat there. And then it pans over to Matt. And like Matt Best is truly the nicest, most caring person of the Black Rifle owners group, and like Matt wants everybody to be happy and all that stuff and comfortable, and and you just you see him, and it's just this awkward, nervous smile. He just goes,
Uncomfortable.
yeah, he goes, it was great. So, you know, I don't know how I got on that tangent. What got me on that tangent?
Well, no, I knew you were going with that because I had the same feelings, not to sound like toxic, I guess, in like the CrossFit environment, you know, because I had learned from being, you know, an NCO, you know, I was a sniper in the army, all this other shit, and being a leader, like, put it to people first, and if you don't know the answer to something, fucking find it out and get back with people, right? So I got very, very, very knowledgeable in that environment, and I went to 10 CrossFit courses along the way as well. Read every book I could to try to employ this into the gym, and then I'm competing with guys who played soccer in college and right into owning a gym. What the fuck do they know? And when you go to their gyms, there was no attention to detail. There's no fucking standards. It's just a party and dubstep music. It's like, cool. I felt like in my mind I had no competition, but I had to compete with people who's function a different way. Maybe their brains are different, you know. But if it came to law enforcement, military, or people who actually took themselves seriously, then there's no other gym they were going to go to because that's the environment they loved, you know. So I agree with what he's saying. There's no competition because you can't compare the two things, you know.
Right. Well, I think that's why your gym blew up the way it did.
Right.
Because you had that environment that was very professional, but it was mostly vets, first responders, and then my fat ass came in there. But
one of the what you have in the CrossFit space is like, so it's the concept behind it is like true pure economics. Like the strong will survive and lesser gyms will go away. Well, that doesn't happen overnight, and that takes a long time for market equilibrium. But one thing is like, you know as well as anyone, CrossFit gyms really can only fit in certain areas, like certain parts of town. You know, normally your warehousing areas and stuff like that. But like what happened a lot was like you'd have someone would open up a gym, and it would be a fantastic gym, like just a great gym that was great for everyone in the local community. And let's say that gym had 200 members, easy number to work with here. And so you get some young coach in there, and he's like, "Oh, I want my own gym. This is great. It's so much fun." Well, they don't see how much work goes in on the backside. All they think is, all right, if I get 100 members and they pay me $150 a month, I'm going to make 15 grand a month, and life's going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. So then you have one gym, and you have one coach leaves and opens a gym, and another coach leaves and opens a gym. Well, so you go from having one super badass gym to one good gym and two substandard gyms.
Yep.
But there's only so many CrossFitters in any given area. So what you're having is it would basically, to the detriment of there's two little parasites would leave and attach to the host organism, and then they're trying to steal members and all that shit. It just turns into a shit situation. Yeah, so I do think the barrier to entry in CrossFit was super low. Mm-hmm. There really wasn't a vetting process. You just go take the L1 cert, and you get some money and your check clears, and you got you a gym. But then again, like, how do you decide like what's a good gym or who's qualified? Okay, this guy's been here for 5 years and he's got 125 members. Now he's married and he's got a kid, and life's more complicated, And that was one of the things was like Glassman preached that, oh, you open a CrossFit gym, you're going to have these many members, you're going to make so much money, and life's going to be great. Well, there's so many gyms now that are still paycheck to paycheck that have been around. There's a couple that are like first 100 gyms that are just literally barely getting by.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, absent. CrossFit was toxic as shit. Like CrossFit HQ, I'll say it. A lot of those people can go fuck themselves. Excuse my French, but like, there's a lot of mean-spiritedness there. There's a lot of underqualified people. They wouldn't allow someone that was actually qualified to come into the organization for fear of exposing them as being a dumb fuck. So, like there were like Justin Berg, whom I absolutely despise. I cannot stand Justin Berg. He's one of the more qualified people there. I mean, to be honest with you, he came in with he did a bunch of like the publisher tennis stuff. Like he had some experience, but like everyone just knew that if they kissed Glassman's ass hard enough, they would retain their job. Now, what a lot of those people are finding is they've all been fired now, and they can't make what they made there in the real world. And it's It's a shit show. It's a shit storm. But
Yeah.
Melissa, who is making some type of food in the kitchen right now, has a fantastic gym. One of the best communities I've ever been a part of. And they were heavily involved in the competitive side in the early days, but they basically transitioned out of psycho competitiveness just to working out, having a good time, and, you know, everyone having fun, you know, which is good. And a lot of gyms still try to maintain that competitive edge. Like, oh man, we're doing these throwdowns, yada, yada, yada.
Right. Yeah. That's not going to keep your bottom line up. And it's, you know, if you're trying to make sure your quarterlies are in time and everything like that, the competitions aren't going to help. You know, they're not going to.
Not at all. Not in the least bit. But no, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. When we get off this podcast, I'm going to go put on some underwear. I mean, I'm wearing shorts right now, but I'm.
Oh, so you're naked?
I was going to say, from the waist down.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here butt naked in another chair, got ass and testes stuck to the seat. But no,
Yeah.
I work out in a CrossFit gym every day. I'm training for a powerlifting meet right now. I'm not doing actual CrossFit, but like, yeah, it's a great community. Like I could never. I went to a Lifetime Fitness in San Antonio, like when I was out there the other day. Holy shit, man!
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, you know, you hear that song Matt Best wrote, "Put Your Fucking Weights Away," and like if you listen to that song close enough and you go into a Lifetime, be like, oh my god, this song was written here. Like, curling in the squat rack.
Well, that's a thing. Like with CrossFit gyms, jiu-jitsu gyms, those are the only gyms I've ever felt comfortable in. Because I also didn't grow up lifting and stuff, so I didn't know what I was doing. So going into like a big box gym, I'm fucking lost. I went into Kevin's gym when he had it and started doing CrossFit, and I felt so comfortable, even though I still didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I felt comfortable. And then I got into jiu-jitsu a couple years ago. Same thing. Had no idea what I was doing, but they made me feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
Where I was able to learn because I was comfortable. I wasn't uncomfortable, like I got to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that area of expertise, whether it's jiu-jitsu or CrossFit, just the way people do it,
well, it's
a little better.
You're also finding people who are like-minded, people that like humility. They like learning something new, being put in a position where you're a student again, you're a child all over again. Versus people you find in a Lifetime Fitness or an Axiom or Gold's Gym, it's people that don't like being told what to do, and so they're all fucked up. Or man-childs, right? You have the 40-year-old guy who's fucking covered in tats and on steroids. He thinks he's tough. Like, no, let's show the fucking ass out, bro.
Legs that big around.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Legs.
Well, then I actually wanted to go back to one thing you said earlier about like when I said you're meeting your heroes and you went, you know, back to saying to people you respect. I'm very similar in that aspect, and it's almost surreal to me doing this podcast because now I'm talking to some of these guys that I consider that I have a lot of respect for. Like Evan was one of them. When I had him on, I was even blown away he even wanted to do this because that's a band that I've watched their company grow from the outside, and I have a lot of respect for what he's done and what that company's done. And some of these people you've contacted us with are people, like especially some of the local companies here. I grew up watching these companies grow from nothing.
Right.
And these people are people I respect. I don't know if I'd call them heroes, but I mean, they're people I respect. Now I'm getting the chance to sit down and have conversations.
They're stand-up motherfuckers, and so you know when you talk to them that you can have a good conversation, and it's not going to be something that's, you know, like you're pairing us with people you know we're going to fit with, right?
Yeah.
You're going to pair us with someone who's like, hey, I'm all about burning books and suppressing information because I'm just going to fucking choke them out on the podcast. Like,
but yeah, it's cool to me just because doing this, we didn't know what we were going to do. We were just like, let's sit down and talk with our friends. And then I started reaching out. That's the best thing I think about social media is you can connect with people you never have the chance to connect with. But I started reaching out to people, and we started getting some people I never thought we would have had a chance to talk to. And then you showed up and really helped us out. So I want to let you know how much we appreciate you.
Yeah,
really do.
You guys were talking to Glenn Everly?
Yeah. Wednesday we're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then you got Butch Whiting from Cryptech on the following Monday.
Butch on Monday, and then
ask Butch. Remember this. Ask Butch about the white tit.
Okay.
The mosque, and then you need to make sure Glenn touches on because Glenn was an Olympic biathlete.
Yeah.
his story is just phenomenal. But you need to ask Butch this. Say, Baker said that you are the best Apache pilot this country has ever produced. Is that
Right.
true? Because here's the deal. Every pilot that I know, and I know a lot of them, they will tell you, I don't know if they'll do it on a podcast, but like in their head, they think they're the best pilot of all time. And that's what you want. Like if I'm in a plane or a helicopter, I want the guy flying it to be like, I am the greatest motherfucker.
Right.
Planet. I'm the best pilot. So anyway, I got to get to the gym, guys. I do appreciate you having me on. I think
We
we're just
appreciate you coming on, man.